Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Gardening with Creations by DX & Co. Today's video is going to be on some of the DIY stuff that you see around the internet, whether it works or not. For this video, I just wanted to try testing out the Selfwicking water bottle. It's being touted as something you can do for a seed starter, also as a grow out for smaller seedlings. So I'm going to test that theory on both. I got two water bottles. I've gone ahead and pre-drilled the hole in the top, and I'll show you what that's for in a minute here. But the idea behind this is that the bottom would be filled with water and the top would be filled with soil where you plant your plants, and that the water would self-wick up and you wouldn't have to water this. So this is one of those things that I figured we could test out here on the channel. I'm going to go ahead and get these two cut in half here so we can see if it works. So what you want to do is basically take your water bottle. I know it's a little bit noisy, I apologize. And you just want to cut it. This is your bottom half that's going to be filled with water. It's ideal to have yarn. I've got an old shoelace that I'm going to be utilizing for this. This part will run from the water up to the soil, and ideally it's just going to create moisture that's going to travel up the string and keep the soil nice and moist. So the top half being that where you keep the soil and the string runs through there. The bottom you can just keep filling with water as it dries up, and you never have to water this plant because it's being self-watered just by filling up this bottom. So let's get started today. I've got an actual bell pepper plant, grand bell multicolored pepper plant that we had sprouted back in an older video that's doing quite nicely. There's actually two of them here. I'm going to pull one out to use for this project. And I've also got the exact same seed here, really hard to see, but I've got one of the grand bell pepper seeds that I'm going to be utilizing for the second bottle here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that cut up as well. Make sure I've got the same size that I'm going with here. So I'm sure you could use a 2-liter bottle, anything of that nature, something that you have lying around. I've chosen just some simple water bottles that I had lying around. Like I said, I pre-drilled the holes in the top that the string's going to go through. I've purposely left the ends on the string that I'm going to cut off here, so I could try to thread this a little bit easier. So you just thread it through the top like that, put it back on. The idea is that that will now keep my soil nice and moist in the top half, and the bottom half will go in the cup of water. So I need it about that long, well, really about that long. I'm going to just kind of eyeball measure this here. You can use a pair of scissors. I'm just going to go ahead and use my razor knife. So there it is, just like that. So let's get some soil in this top half here. Now you do want to pre-moisten the soil that's in the top. I've got some damper soil here, but I'm still gonna rinse this under some water as soon as I get it. So there's my top half with soil. I'm gonna rinse it under some water. I'm also gonna put some water in the bottom. So give me a moment, I'll be right back. Okay, I've filled my top half up with some soil. I've filled my bottom half up with some water. And you can see now the string I just dipped in the water is completely soaked. So the idea is that the water will travel up that string and will water this soil. I've pre-moistened this soil, and I'm just going to take my seed for now, and I'm just going to bury it a little bit. It's a pepper seed, so it doesn't need to go that deep. I believe about 1/4 inch on those. Check your packaging for your pepper seed or which seedling you're type of grow. And so that's all there is to it. Now we set this one aside, see if it'll germinate. In the meantime, let me get these two separated. I've done videos on those before. you can check those out. In fact, they were actually on this exact type of plant. They were on the pepper that I was separating before, and how to separate them out without damaging them. So I'm going to try to do this actually on this one without losing too much of the soil here it's in, because I don't want to pull the other one out just yet. In fact, I promised the neighbor he could have it, so trying to gently pull that out, root and all. I was able to successfully get that one out of there. Try to get that one put back together. I'm actually going to pull the mesh netting back up around it to keep it enclosed as much as possible. Try to keep it together so I can put it back with the rest of my pods that are still kind of growing until I can get things in the ground. Alright, so I'm going to get this next one up and set the way the other ones is, and I'll show you. Okay guys, and we're back. I've got that second one ready to go. Water in the bottom, soil in the top. Got the string run through it exactly like I did the last one. We've got our pepper plants. Now remember, you don't want to go too deep when transplanting pepper plants. You do not want to get root rot, so you want to make sure you're just burying the roots, giving the stem a nice little structure, but not burying the stem at all. So I'm trying to get that one slightly centered. I can always stake it up later if I need to, but I've got it planted, and that's all there is to it, guys. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys want to see how this project turns out, follow along with me. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell for additional content, and to see if A, the germination one works, and B, the pepper plant grows, and see how it does outside of its little starter pod there. So there you have it, guys. Hit like if you like this video, share it out. Appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and as always guys, stay safe, and I hope you're enjoying your gardens.